And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys, hope you're all well. Before we do get into today's video, as always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Guys, in today's video, we are going to be touching upon a bit last night, of course, whilst also going over why Rangers are closing in on a deal, an exciting one for some of you. And then we're also going to be rounding up a bit of the Rangers news from the last sort of 24 hours. But let's start with last night. Rangers, of course, drawing 0-0 with Sparta Prague in the Europa League match day 3. Again, a match where if you watched the game, if you watched it with me, you would have probably seen how frustrated I was with the first half. It was a backs against the wall sort of defensive job in that opening sort of 45 minutes. And a game where I wasn't really happy. It wasn't a Rangers performance that I like to really see. We were kept into the game due to Jack Butland first and foremost, and then other defenders chipped in as well. But as I said, it did feel like we were playing against like a Real Madrid, a Juventus, or someone like that, a big European side at their home stadium, and we were being pinned into our own box. Look, Sparta Prague are a decent side. As I said, they are unbeaten at home so far. I think unbeaten at home completely in all competitions this season. It is a fortress, and going into the second half, we did play a lot better, and probably looking at it from another perspective, it is a very good away European point, you know. Sometimes I'm always just about winning. I love to win games. Rangers, supporting Rangers my whole life, it's all about winning games, no matter who you're up against. And I never celebrate a draw really, but actually looking at it and looking at the big scale of the actual group itself, a point isn't actually that bad if you take it into context. The year we got to Europa League final, we actually did lose at that stadium. We lost 2-0. So they do make it a bit of a fortress for themselves, and now we've just got to go and win those next 2 home games, and we could be really in a really healthy position within the group going forward. So something that we need to still keep building on, of course. Win our next 2 home games, see where we're at. 10 points would probably be enough to see us qualify, but I still want to top that group, and we do have that head-to-head over Real Betis. It could come down to the final day, should we win those 2 home games, to see where we go in Seville. So it's all to play for. A good point, I think, when we look back on the group itself. I think it's one of them ones where we'll go, actually, that point was fantastic. So, yeah, job done, but hoping for a lot better performances against Hearts this weekend. Another Scottish Premiership game, another game at home. They were pumped rotten by Celtic at Tynecastle at the weekend, so I have no fear going up against Hearts. However, we need to be put on the same level of performance that we did against Hibs, if not better, if we want to go and beat Hearts. And as I said, fans will be expecting a performance. But first and foremost, fans will be expecting all 3 points, which is something that we need to see. Now, going into it, of course, Rangers are agreeing, or set to agree a deal. We have been talking about this one here on the channel, but the man himself has actually came out and spoke about it and has confirmed that he is close to agreeing a deal to return to Rangers. That, of course, being Graeme Souness, with the club legend going to be joining as a consultative role. On TalkSport, he said, "I'm not sure it's a senior advisory role. It's more of a consultant, ambassador, but I'm a Rangers supporter, Jim. I had the chance to go back early in the season and I didn't feel the job description was right for me, but I'd love to help them. I want them to be successful again. I want them to be to the top of the league. I want them to be the top of the Scottish game and do well in Europe going forward. If I can offer any advice, any part of the footballing part of the job, then I'll do it. And I have to say, I'm pretty close to agreeing everything. We've got everything, a few things to iron out." Souness also, as I said, helped out with the appointment of Felipe Clement, but did touch upon that he said that he did favour Frank Lampard at one point, which I don't think would have went down well with the Rangers supporters, but probably explains why Frank Lampard was the favourite at one point, because Graeme Souness was probably pushing for the club to appoint him. Again, I'm so glad that didn't happen, but this is what he said with regards to Frank Lampard. He said, "There were 2 outstanding candidates for me, Frank Lampard and Felipe. The final say wasn't with me. For me, Frank had the edge because of this. Frank, I think he's still a great deal to offer. Taking the Chelsea job when he had it was always going to be very difficult. The Everton job is a basket case. And how have he improved since Frank left? Not a bit. So I wouldn't be too critical on Frank. The thing is that encouraged me about Frank is that he wanted to do it. He doesn't need the money. He wanted to be a successful manager and he fancied the Rangers job." So Graeme Souness touching touching upon Frank Lampard and stating that he was his pick of the candidates. But the main sort of headlines today, of course, is that he is close to joining on a consultancy role. If you are a subscriber of the channel, you would have known that a few days ago. We did report to you that he was closing in, but you've heard from the man himself that Rangers are close to acquiring Graeme Souness, and he will be returning back to the club in a senior consultancy advisory role. So just probably helping out with how things go, I suppose, making decisions at the board level. But look, he knows a lot about Rangers, has been successful at Rangers, has played for Rangers, and sometimes you need those guys in and about the sort of boardroom. But as I said, I don't think it's going to be too much of a massive role. It's not a full-time role. It's more of a part-time basis, and as I said, as a consultant. So yeah, good to see Graeme coming back. However, some of his shouts recently haven't been the best. As I say, Frank Lampard as the next manager would have been a horrible shout, first and foremost. And then secondly, sometimes he can be a bit of a, not a quote-unquote dinosaur, but some of his points, I remember when De Zerbi was appointed by Brighton, he said he didn't get the appointment, said he doesn't know our game and all that sort of stuff. And look what De Zerbi's doing at Brighton at the moment. So sometimes he has a bit of some howling shouts, but as I said, knows the club, and it's always great to have those sort of senior figures there in an advisory role, and hopefully he can help out going forward. But yeah, Rangers very, very close to agreeing a deal for the big man, and he is set to be joining as a senior consultant. So interesting stuff on that regard. Ex-Rangers midfielder Joey Barton has been sacked by Bristol Rovers. Yes, obviously, after venturing or a spell at Rangers, which was pretty honking, I think it was at 5 league games. It wasn't so good after taking to social media and saying that he was going to be the next big thing. Never really worked out for both him and the club. He went back down to Burnley. Did well there, and then he sort of took a job into management. I think he started with Fleetwood Town, then ended up going to Bristol, but as I said, now he has been sacked by Bristol Rovers after they announced it on their website. So the former Rangers player, of course, yeah, no longer a manager anymore. He'll probably be waiting for his next gig at some point. But anyway, that's all I've really got for you today for the first part of today's, or the first video of today, guys. Most of the talk, of course, about Graeme Souness closing in on a role. An announcement is said to be imminent. We're also going to be of course, all eyes are across the weekend. We are at that point in the season now where it is 2 games a week. It's Thursday to Sunday, and we are going to be playing Europa League. Then, of course, we've got the Scottish Premiership, but it's going to be like that now until the end of the year at least. If we're going to be doing well in all competitions, we're still in the League Cup. They've got that game coming up against Hearts very soon, something that we want to win also. But games coming thick and fast for the club, and it's a good opportunity for Clement to really use these games to benefit him, and hopefully we can really progress as a football club going forward and start to see those levels of performances that we've seen against Hibernian, but build upon it and really become a polished team, try and close that gap. But it all starts again against Hearts. But positives, we are unbeaten still, and yeah, 2 kind of tough games crossed off the list. All eyes on Hearts now. And yeah, Rangers fans, do let me know your thoughts on the imminent return of Graeme Souness. Let me know your final thoughts on the game yesterday as well down there in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video. As always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Thank you guys, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.